The guest that we have with us is Ranjan Day. He lives in San Francisco. He's the owner of the New Delhi restaurant. And today with Ranjan, we want to honor all of the people that are working in hospitality, in the restaurants, in the hotels, all over the world. And we know Ranjan in particular has worked in San Francisco, Hong Kong, New Delhi, and Calcutta. And right now, a lot of restaurants are closed. Some fine dining restaurants are doing takeout. A lot of hotels are closed. It's very hard to know, what does luxury mean? And so things are quite different and quite challenging. I know that you're doing takeout and delivery, but how do you find courage when things are so different and so challenging?
First, thank you for inviting me to be your guest today. I appreciate. And I am happy to represent the hospitality industry. I love my industry. It is such a beautiful industry, especially the deep soul of this industry is about hospitality, about love, about creating celebration and making it happen. So, yes, it is very difficult. It is very challenging. But I always feel every disaster has a seed of opportunity. And it is your attitude and it is how you want to deal with this is what is going to define you. And it is going to make you come out stronger. And that's what everybody is doing in the hospitality industry. I have people in the event industry. We do several catering and wedding. Every photographer is reinventing the wheel along with streaming different things to create, platform for meetings. Hotels are setting things in place so that as people start to travel, they can be more safe and secure. Restaurants, we are reinventing ourselves. We are a fine dining restaurant. We are a part of the legacy business of San Francisco. We have been there 32 years. However, we have to reinvent the luxury part of this business. And we are starting with, curbsidecurry.com so that you can pick up different flavorful, beautiful, delicious curries, which you are craving while you are in shelter in place and doing a lot of deliveries. And as we are, getting there to reopen, we have to make sure number one is all the staff is safe. And we are not putting our, my core staff has been with me for 26 years, Jim. The six of us are being way more than families can even, we have spent more time together than each other's families. So we have to make sure everybody's safe first and then figure out how to work. So yeah, we are looking forward to coming out stronger on the other side of this hurdle. And thank you for being my friend. And thank you for being there to support me. I am truly, deeply grateful for that.
Absolutely, Ranjan. It's we've known each other almost 30 years.
Yes.
And it's hard to be up here isolated in the wilderness of Sonoma County and not be able to really come into San Francisco and sit down and have, a big meal.
Yeah.
And it's tempting to still do takeout, but it's a long distance. And it's not the same as walking into the restaurant and ordering a drink and sitting down and smelling all of the different spices.
Yes.
And I know that you are a master blender of spices. I was honored many years ago to go with you into your spice area where you have all the different spices. and so many different fragrances. I felt like I was in a spice market in another country, but here I was in San Francisco. So I know that you blend the spices, I know you package and sell them, but I want to know, for you being here in California, there must be some ingredients or some spices that are hard to get. So maybe tell us a little bit about how you get ingredients and something about your own favorite dish that you like to eat or to make.
You know, I love the variety which life offers. Therefore, my favorite dish changes all the time. I have different dishes I crave different days, and I love the texture of diversity in my life on my palate. You know, and what I want to do. I don't want to eat the same thing all over again and again and again. Um, so, like if you ask me today I would love to have some tandoori chicken, barbecue chicken with some tamarind eggplant, some rice, and garlic bread. The garlic naan will be delicious to go with it. When it comes to spices, spices are very, very different. It's so natural, you know? So depending upon the climate, depending from where we are procuring it, it changes. If there is like for example, drought in a certain area, the whole production will change. And so the spices and the and the price of that spices will go up depending upon if there is less available. But if you ask me what is the most precious spice, it's the saffron, you know. And saffron comes from the stamen of a flower. It's just the stamen. For 1 pound of saffron, you need at least 26,000 flowers. So that's why it is way more expensive than gold sometimes. And that's the one difficult to procure things which are natural. Like in Kashmir, you do have the natural way they create and cultivate saffron. However, those are sold like 4 or 5 seasons in advance. And with everything, political unrest and everything going on there, it's become more and more and more difficult to procure them. So we use Spanish saffron, which is much cheaper and is, it's cultivated in a big, massive scale.
Great, thank you. Um, we could talk about food forever, but I want
Yes.
to talk a little bit about some of the fundraising you've done. I know that you've done a lot of different fundraising, and you have choices on who to work with. You have choices on what kind of fundraisers. Can you tell us a little more about that? I know quite a bit, but what um, what do you do when you're trying to decide where to do a fundraiser? What kind of event and who would be receiving, some donations?
You see, Jim, I always believe if your foundation, like the foundation of your house, has a crack, take care of it first. Then going to your friend's house and, repairing the roof, or going to friend's house or across somewhere else to do it. So my focus is right there in my neighborhood in the Tenderloin. We are a little bit more towards Union Square, but in Tenderloin, that's where most of the people in the hospitality industry lives. They live there. They are the one who are the machine which makes the hospitality industry move. These are the line cook. These are the waiters. These are the dishwashers. These are the people who are doing the housekeeping. They're doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs. A lot of them are immigrants. Some of them are undocumented. So when they're doing 2 jobs or 3 jobs and their kids are left unattended, that's when all this problem arises. If you go to the street, you have the drugs, you have the prostitutes, you have the gangs, you have the human trafficking, and everything in between. So we help kids, and Tenderloin After School program provide a safe place where they could be safe, provide them homework, help. Um, then we kind of inspire them to get out of this circle by education. So we have trips going all over US to different universities, campus tours to show them that you could be here. Then we connect them from across the street, across the ocean in India. We work with kids in 6 biggest slums across from Gandhi Ashram in Ahmedabad. And we have a center called Heart Center, capital HE, capital ART, is the art center with a heart. Mm-hmm. And 3,000 kids comes there, and they can express themselves in all different art forms, whether it is drama, whether it is dance, whether it's music, whether it's computer graphics, and we connect them together. And every 6-7 years, like 17 kids, 16 kids, and 7 chaperones comes here to meet the kids of Tenderloin. And it happened last year in May, just about a year back. And it's a huge undertaking because these kids don't have any birth certificate or anything. So it takes us 3 years to put it together, but it's all about a message that we can overcome anything and everything in a nonviolent way. And that's how it starts. We do a dance drama all over different 11 cities in India, and they share it with different areas where there are, people who are having challenges. And then when we get the papers and everything ready, they come to meet all these kids, and it's amazing. So yeah, they are our future. So we should support the kids because that's where the bright light will come in.
That's great. And there are certainly a lot of poor people in San Francisco as well as in India. I know also you do a lot of fun things for the people working in hospitality. You even have something, I believe you call it double happiness, where you have a happy hour in the afternoon, I think maybe 3 to 5, and you have another happy hour, I don't know if it's 8 to 10 at night. So people that are done working in a restaurant can come over for happy hour.
Yes, we have one starting from 5:30 to 7:30, and the other one starts from 10:30 to 11:30. So when the shift ends around 10 o'clock or so, everybody comes, and then it's a place like the Cheers of the hospitality industry in downtown. Everybody gets to talk to each other. They're all in the same industry. And, it's nice to be able to have a shoulder where you can talk about different difficult days and the next person can understand what you're saying.
Now, Ranjan, I think that you don't play favorites. You're comfortable with simple and poor people, with people that may have a very simple job, but you also seem to be easygoing with celebrities, even politicians. And I know you've had many of them visiting you in the restaurant. I know, of course, Mayor Art Agnos. I know Kamala Harris. I believe President Clinton's been there, and the Galloping Gourmet. Do you have maybe a fun story about one of those particular people?
Oh, there are so many. One of the thing which comes to my mind is when Clinton visited our restaurant for the first time. So he was still a governor, and he was, campaigning to become our president. And so my wife was there, my daughter, Sarah, my older daughter, Sarah, I have 2 daughters, Sarah and Caitlin. Sarah was there. She was 5, I think. And so they came in, and it was busy. Those days, it was a $2,000 a plate, and this is, I'm talking about in 1995 or something like that.
Wow.
Long. And Sarah asked me, "Who is he, Dad?" And I'm like, he's going to be our president. So he is here to answer questions and find out, and everybody is here to find out. And that's when they're going to decide to support him or not. And she's like, "Can I ask him something too, Dad?" I'm like, "Oh gosh, no, And I said, "Of course, he's my restaurant." In my mind, I thought, "Yes, of course." And I said, "Yes, sir, I can ask him anything." So I take her over to our ex-President Clinton, and she pulls on his lapel and says, "Can I ask you something?" So he sits down in the chair to be on her level and says, "Yes, honey, what do you want to ask me?" And she's like, "Do you like broccoli?" Because President Bush didn't like broccoli. And it was very important that she knows whether he likes broccoli. And he said, "Yeah, I love broccoli. And I think all presidents should love it." And went on to just engage with her for almost 20 minutes, telling her stories about Chelsea. And she loved eating broccoli, and she thought she's eating little trees and all that, and wrote her a note saying, "Please keep on eating your broccoli."
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
that's one. There's so many stories.
Well, I think your 2 daughters keep you young also.
Yes.
So I want to take you back for a moment to when you were young. I guess you were about 14 when you started working with vegetables in a restaurant.
Yeah.
So if you had not been working in a restaurant at the age of 14, is there some other potential career? I mean, you've spent your whole life with food and entertainment, everything's surrounded by food. Is there something else that you might have wanted to do? Or you could still do now?
Yeah. I love what I do now. So many people ask me when I'm at work, "When are you retiring?" I tell them I'm retired. Like, "What do you mean?" And everybody tells you, you do what you love when you retire. I'm doing it already. So, but if I have to do something different, I would say I would love to be a storyteller. I love telling stories. And I would love to be a storyteller, whether it would be in what area, I don't know. I have so many interests in so many ways. And it just segues from what I do. I'm a storyteller right here in my industry. I tell the stories and share. I always say my passion in life is to infect everybody with India. And I do that through my stories, through my food, through my spices, through my documentary series. And it is really nice that, you're giving me the platform to invite people to come to my restaurant again, because this is the time when we need all the help. This is the time we need the support so that we can get back up, because we have fallen, but we'll get up and walk and then run. So thank you for providing that platform for me. I'm very, very grateful.
Absolutely, Ranjan. And that's one of the things I miss when I've come to visit you. There's always a story. You have a story, I have a story, but it's about people. And so the food and the environment helps us to want to listen, helps us to want to tell stories. And so I really want to honor you and all of the people in restaurants, in hotels, all of the people that are helping us to really appreciate what you've been doing and how we can support you now, and then how we can come back and be totally involved and hear some more stories from you in the future. So thank you again, Ranjan.
Jim, I want to thank you because, I truly believe in life. When the intention is pure, universe helps. And your intention has always been pure in helping people. So thank you very much for being my friend.
Thank you, Ranjan. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
And thank you everyone for joining us today. We look forward to sharing more of these different events with you. Thank you.